Good morning, everybody. Tarek Patel here. That's right, it's Selection Sunday. I hope that extra hour of sleep served you well. Or if you didn't sleep too well, well, now it's time to reveal where you're going to play this postseason. That's right, it's winner go home time. The CIF Southern Section bracket reveal is here. It's the playoffs. We're gonna find out Divisions 14, 13, 12, and so on. We're gonna go up to Division 1. How many teams are in Division 1? How will it impact the subsequent divisions below it? Let's not forget, this is hot off the press, guys. Again, we're here Sunday morning, ready to present these playoff brackets to you. I don't think it's gonna happen, but CIF office sometimes can change some things. So I'm getting these brackets, this information to you as fast as I can now that I have them right here in my hand. So if there are changes, you'll know about them, but I don't think that's gonna happen. We're gonna dive right in. Let's start with Division 14. Here we go. Number 1 seed Nordhoff, 7-3, taking on Hamilton. Duarte versus Sierra Vista. St. Gabriel versus Desert Christian Academy. St. Gabriel gets in 4-6, but gets the automatic berth out of the Elmont League. Costa Mesa, 7-3, taking on Temecula Prep. Arroyo, 5-6 versus Century. Bolsa Grande and Ganesha, both 5-5 teams in the regular season. La Quinta and Saddleback, Pioneer and Vasquez round out that opening Division 14 field. 2 at-large berths get in to Division 14. Onward and upward, here we go. Division 13, Gar and La Puente. Desert Hot Spring and Artesia. Arrowhead Christian and Nogales. Arrowhead Christian gets in at 4-5. Anaheim and A.B. Miller at 8-2. 2 8-2 teams right there in the opening round of Division 13. Linwood and South El Monte. Calvary Chapel and El Monte of the Mission Valley League. They come in at the number 2 spot, 6-4. They're in Division 13. Santa Rosa Academy versus Pasadena out of the Pacific League. San Marino and Hawthorne. That's a Division 2 at-large berths get in for Division 13. Here we go, moving on. Division 12, some good programs in this division. Mary Starr gets the number 1 seed in Division 12 at 8-2. They're gonna take on Fontana. An at-large berth out of the Pacific League, Crescenta Valley. They'll host Dos Pueblos, gonna make the trek from up north. Chaffee and Eisenhower. Palmdale hosting Woodbridge. Canyon Springs and Banning of the Sun Valley League. Banning wins the Sun Valley League and goes 9-2 in the regular season. Congratulations to them. Trinity Classical Academy, 10-0. What a year. They're in the Division 12 playoffs, but they'll be on the road to Carter. They finished 6-3. Yucca Valley and Wilson. And the final matchup in this Division 12 field, 3 at-large berths, 1 more to be named. That's Rim of the World. They get an at-large berth, and they play Estancia, an 8-2-1 team. On to Division 11. This might be one of the more intriguing lower division brackets, in my opinion, to keep an eye on. Don Lugo, the number 1 seed, taking on Portola. That gets this Division 11 bracket started. The Crosby Celts are back in the playoffs. Coach Brad Vonamy leading the charge for the Celts. And assistant coach Brian Bennett, a proud alum. Celts on the uptick. They finished 3rd in the Del Rey League. They're going to host Santa Paula in Division 11. Big Bear taking on Capo Valley Christian, another at-large berth in this field. Baldwin Park and Colton. Los Amigos will host Paris of the Inland Valley League. El Rancho and Bell Gardens. San Gorgonio, the number 2 team out of the San Andreas League, taking on Grace Brethren. Another interesting story to keep an eye on in this division. Ethan LaSecla, the do-it-all quarterback, just piling up the yards for the Lancers That's a program that is only in its second year back in 11-man football, a team to watch under Tom Coate. Santa Fe taking on Grand Terrace. Grand Terrace gets in with a 4-6 record. 3 at-large teams get into that field. That was Division 11. Division 10, St. Anthony, the number 1 seed, will host South Hills. Shadow Hills will take on El Segundo. Pacifica of Garden Grove and La Cañada will duel it out. Brentwood gets an at-large out of the Gold Coast League, one of 3 at-larges in this Division 10 field. St. Monica Prep will take on Brentwood. South Pasadena versus Patriot. Valley View will host Moreno Valley. Silverado will take on Linfield Christian out of the Mesquite League. Linfield Christian, the champs, at 6-3. And to finish out this Division 10 bracket, San Marcos will host Chino, a team that went 4-6 but is in the postseason. Getting into the single digits now. Here we go. Division 9, the Highland Bulldogs. That's right, we all know that hashtag Dirt Made. They're going to host Cerritos, the number 1 team out of the 605 League. Good matchup to start off Division 9 there. Monrovia and Burbank. Sonora, an at-large team, will take on Alemany. Gets in from the Angeles League. 2 at-large teams dueling it out in the opening round. Casey Clausen gets his Warriors to 5-4 this year. Quartz Hill will take on Kennedy. Wilson of Long Beach will take on Victor Valley. Covina will host the Crusaders of Village Christian out of the Ironwood League. Norwalk hosting St. Genevieve, and Great Oak will take on Coachella Valley. That rounds off Division 9. On to Division 8, number 1 seed Beckman, 9-1, will take on Rancho Mirage at home. La Quinta and Lancaster, and in another matchup that really boggles the mind if we're being honest. Not only did they recently just play in Week 10, but Hemet and Rancho Christian will meet again in the opening round of the playoffs, which isn't against the rules anymore. The CIF went away with that a couple years ago, where you can play league opponents in the opening round, now with competitive equity. But this isn't just a rematch in the last couple weeks. Hemet and Rancho Christian met in the opening round of last year's playoffs in Division 10. So a little fun wrinkle there between those 2 teams. Hemet will host this game, as they did last year as well, in Division 10. Moving on, Serrano will host Norte Vista. Los Osos and at-large berth will host Irvine. Salesian and Esperanza. St. Pius will host Cypress, another at-large team that gets in at 2-8. Congratulations to Cypress. Segerstrom will host Paramount, and that finishes the Division 8 field for this postseason. 2 at-large berths in that division. On to Division 7 as we keep it rolling. West Torrance will host West Valley. Camarillo, an at-large berth out of the Marmani League, 2-8. They won't have to go too far, their opponent won't have to go too far. They're going to host Oak Park. 7-3 will take on Camarillo. That's the Scorpions. Ramona will host Rio Hondo Prep. Vista del Lago will take on ML King. Warren, 3-7 out of the Gateway League. They're in Division 7. They'll host Palm Desert. Golden Valley out of the Foothill League will take on El Toro. Marina and Yakaipa, Citrus Valley and Peninsula will round out Division 7. 3 at-larges in that one. Peninsula 6-4. Citrus Valley gets in at 3-6. Here we go, getting closer to the higher divisions. Division 6 for now. Muir will take on Sure. Calabasas, led by Carrie Harris, gets an at-large berth out of the Conejo Coast League, a new league out in Ventura County. They'll host St. Francis, led by Dean Harrington. Northwood taking on Ayala. Marietta Mesa and Ontario Christian. Hart on the uptick at 8-2, finishes 2nd in the Foothill League. They'll take on Rancho Verde. Agora and Glendora. San Dimas and Aliso Niguel, another at-large team. Dana Hills will host Barstow. That's the final matchup in this 16-team field for Division 6. 3 at-larges in that division. On to Division 5. Huntington Beach will host Western out of the Delta League. Western gets an at-large at 5-5 in the regular season. Summit and Torrance. Rio Mesa will host Ventura, a Ventura County showdown in Division 5 there in the opening round. La Serna will play Troy. Moore Park High School will play Foothill, another at-large berth in this division. Valencia, led by Larry Muir, will host Lakewood out of the Moore League. Mayfair will play Trabuco Hills, and Palos Verdes will play Brea Linda. That's the Division 5 bracket. 3 at-large teams get in to that field. Division 4, here we come. St. Bonaventure out of the Marmoni League gets the number 1 seed. They'll take on a tough Orange Vista team. Redondo Union against Aquinas. Charter Oak and Apple Valley, 8-2 versus 8-3 in the opening round. That's going to be a good one. Capistrano Valley and Culver City. Culver City, an at-large out of the Bay League, taking on teams like Palos Verdes and Lusinger. Culver City is well tested. Pacifica of Oxnard, another at-large team getting in from the Marmoni League. They'll play Laguna Beach at home. Long Beach Poly, the Jackrabbits, they're in Division 4. Out of the Moore League, they'll take on Northview. St. Paul taking on Thousand Oaks of the Conejo Coast League, and El Medina will host Santa Barbara from the Conejo Coast League. They're an at-large team. They're one of 3 at-larges that got into this division. That's Division 4. Here we go, Division 3. Before I even get to this bracket, I know Division 3 and Division 2 are going to be juggernaut divisions. Just throw a ball in the air and take a guess, because I don't know who's going to win these brackets. Here we go. Jim Bankert takes down Oaks Christian in Week 10. It gets him the number 1 seed in Division 3. They'll take on Notre Dame of Sherman Oaks. Out of the Mission League, Evan Yabu, once at Thousand Oaks, goes 10-0. He's rebuilding things over at Notre Dame. That's a juggernaut matchup right there in Division 3. Moving on, the game of the week coming up on Friday, La Habra taking on Miracosta. Milliken out of the Moore League. Last time they won the Moore League, Richard Nixon was in office. That's how long it's been. The Rams are on the up and up. They're going to take on Crayon Lutheran. That game will have a lot of studs in it, a lot of speed, and potentially a lot of points. Tustin will take on Loyola. Loyola dropped their Week 10 game against Notre Dame in Week 10, but wins the coin flip. They get the AQ, the automatic qualifier out of that league, and they'll take on Tustin out of Orange County. That's another great matchup. Edison will host North Torrance. Cathedral will host Bonita. That's going to have a lot of talent in it. Cathedral 9-1, Bonita 10-0 this year. Chino Hills out of the Baseline League will take on Cajon, and Villa Park will take on Vista Murrieta. 3 at-large teams get into this field, and it is loaded. Now, a little wrinkle here. Before we dive into Division 2, we're going to Division 1. So here we go. How many teams get into Division 1? I don't know. We're going to find out. Is it going to be 8? Is it going to be 10? Are they going to go old school 16? We don't know. Okay. I'm going to find out for you right here. Here we go. Division 1. Here are the 10 teams that made the field in Division 1. Could be a little bit of surprise. Maybe not so much if you were keeping an eye on calpreps.com. Here are the matchups. There's going to be 2 first-round games per se. I wouldn't call them play-ins. Let's just call them first-round games. And that's going to be between Santa Margarita and Inglewood. And the other one's going to be Sierra Canyon versus Servite. Those are the first 2 games on November 8th, and the quarterfinals will line up on November 15th. The winner of Sierra Canyon Servite will take on big bad number 1 Mater Dei. Corona Centennial and Mission Viejo, they get the week off. They'll reconvene in the quarterfinal on the 15th of November. Orange Lutheran and J. Sarah, a rematch of the Trinity League, and the winner of Santa Margarita Inglewood will play St. John Bosco. There's your Division 1 field, a juggernaut, if I might add. And the last field to go through, Division 2, another absolute toss-up. Murrieta Valley gets the number 1 seed. They'll take on Rancho Cucamonga. Los Alamitos will take on Lusinger. Oaks Christian will take on Oak Hills. Oak Hills will have to travel a long way to Oaks Christian out in Westlake Village. The Lions will be waiting for Oak Hills. Here we go. San Juan Hills taking on Beaumont. Beaumont, one of the surprise teams of the year. 9-1 out of the Citrus Belt League. 2 9-1 teams going at it in the opening round of Division II. The next game, I don't know how many points are going to get scored in this one. It could be a lot. It might not be a lot. It goes both ways with these teams. Downey taking on Sarah. Downey 9-1 led by Oscar Rios. Sarah led by the Shady 6 defensive back. That defensive back unit led by CJ McBean. That's going to be a juggernaut matchup in Division II. Chaparral and Yorba Linda. Damien and San Clemente. San Clemente, despite losing a coin flip out of the Alpha League, they get into the playoffs at 5-5 in this Division II field. And the last matchup in Division II, Newbury Park taking on San Jacinto. That one might be race to 60 points. Brady Smigel out of Newbury Park, throwing touchdowns all over the place, particularly to Shane Rosenthal. That will be a tall task for San Jacinto to stop, and that finishes out the Division II playoff bracket. We've covered them all, Division 14 to Division I. There you have it. Go on, get the scouting reports, call your buddies, find out how you can get under the skin of that opponent, because it's win or go home this postseason. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out all the coverage, scorebooklive.com, High School on SI. I'm Tarek Patel. Thanks again for watching. Have a great Sunday, and we'll see you on Friday night.